I know, continue to inspire and lead our national conversations, helping to bring the marginal.
A touching message from King Charles to his beloved granddaughter, Princess Charlotte, has sparked a furious reaction from Queen Camilla, who has reportedly gone ballistic over the royal revelation. But what heartfelt message has triggered Queen Camilla, and how will this dramatic confrontation affect the future of the monarchy? Join us to explore this fallout. A grandfather's gentle heart. Lately, nothing makes King Charles happier than spending time with his grandchildren. It's easy to see how much light they've brought into his life. His busy royal schedule, once filled with endless meetings and formal events, now makes room for visits from Prince William and Princess Catherine's children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and little Prince Louis. The palace also hopes that Prince Harry's children, Archie and Lilibet, will one day join these warm family moments, making them even more special. The atmosphere at Windsor Castle has quietly started to change. A grand old room, once used for important royal meetings and filled with heavy books and serious papers, has been completely transformed. Now, it's a bright, cozy playroom where the children can laugh, read, and let their imaginations run free. The tall shelves that held dusty history books now carry colorful storybooks and soft toys. In a sunny corner, easels wait with paints and crayons neatly arranged, ready for tiny hands to create new masterpieces. The space feels warm, happy, and made with love, a reflection of the king's new priorities. Inside his personal study, King Charles proudly displays photographs of his 5 grandchildren. These pictures aren't hidden away in albums, but placed where he can see them every day. Alongside them, he keeps the children's drawings, handwritten notes, and school projects. These simple gifts mean the world to him and serve as daily reminders of their special bond. Unlike the sometimes difficult relationships he's had with his sons, time with the grandchildren is peaceful and joyful. There are no royal duties, no old arguments, no heavy expectations. In those precious moments, he isn't a king. He's just their loving grandfather, and that makes him truly happy. His bond with Princess Charlotte is especially sweet. They both love art and nature, and their shared interests have drawn them close. During family visits, they wander the gardens, pick out favorite flowers, and chat about colors for paintings. These simple, meaningful moments are treasured by both of them. King Charles has also started new family traditions. He picks out storybooks filled with gentle lessons about kindness and courage to read to the children. On holidays at Balmoral, he takes them on quiet walks through the woods, showing them birds, insects, and plants. He hopes these gentle lessons will help them grow up loving and respecting nature, just as he always has. Even the palace kitchen has changed. Special snacks are kept ready in case the children drop by unexpectedly. Sometimes, King Charles himself arranges their favorite treats on little plates, happily waiting to see their delighted faces when they arrive. At a recent family gathering, a simple, sweet moment showed just how much these times mean to him. Prince Louis wanted to build a tall wooden tower with blocks. King Charles joined him on the floor, patiently helping as the little boy changed his design again and again. When an assistant reminded him of an upcoming meeting, Charles waved it off and stayed, fully focused on his grandson's playful project. That tender moment spoke louder than any royal speech ever could. One of the king's most touching new traditions is writing personal letters. For every birthday and important event, he writes a heartfelt note to each grandchild by hand. In these letters, he mentions the small things, a new hobby, a kind word, or a drawing they made. These letters are simple but precious, small reminders of his love. So why was his bond so strong with his granddaughter? Let's dive into it. Charlotte, the king's little star. Princess Charlotte was beginning to shine in her own gentle and special way within the royal family. Every time she appeared at public events, people noticed how calm and graceful she looked. Wherever she went, Charlotte seemed fully aware of everything around her. She followed royal customs naturally, without needing reminders. What touched people even more was how kindly she cared for her younger brother, Prince Louis. She often kept a watchful eye on him, gently guiding his behavior and making sure he felt safe and happy. This sweet, protective side of her made people both inside and outside the palace admire her deeply. King Charles, in particular, had grown very fond of Charlotte. People working in the palace quietly noticed the way his eyes softened when looking at her. There were quiet whispers that the king believed there was something rare about Charlotte, something that made her different from everyone else. Some thought she showed the same grace and charm as her mother, Princess Kate, mixed with the sense of duty her father, Prince William, carried so naturally. But even with these resemblances, Charlotte had her own lively and free-spirited nature. Her cheerful spark left a gentle but lasting mark on those around her. A few even said they could catch a glimpse of Princess Diana in her gentle smile and thoughtful gestures. What made Charlotte stand out even more to the king was her special interest in the royal family's past. While other children her age might have cared little for old stories, Charlotte asked curious questions about past kings and queens. She wanted to know why certain traditions existed. The king enjoyed these conversations, sharing little stories and secrets that books never told. Their private talks became treasured times, full of warmth and lessons that built a strong bond between grandfather and granddaughter. As Charlotte's birthday approached, something surprising happened. King Charles gave quiet orders to clear his schedule for the entire day. This was unusual, as his calendar was always packed with royal duties and events. He didn't offer long reasons for his decision, only saying that some moments in life mattered more than royal business. The longtime palace staff exchanged knowing looks, sensing how special Charlotte had become to the king. Neighbors and people near the palace began noticing Charlotte growing to resemble her mother more each day. Some even pointed out hints of Diana's expressions in her face. King Charles seemed to notice too, watching his granddaughter with soft admiration. In the days leading up to her birthday, he held several private meetings with his trusted advisors. These meetings ended quickly whenever someone unplanned entered, creating a sense of quiet mystery. People around them wondered what secret plans the king might be making for Charlotte. Shortly before her birthday, Charlotte was invited to a formal state dinner. Though she stayed only for a short while, she left a lasting impression. She moved through the grand hall as though she belonged there. She greeted guests with kindness and perfect manners, winning the hearts of foreign visitors. From his place across the room, King Charles felt his heart swell with pride, hopeful about what the future would hold for the royal family. The king also paid close attention to Charlotte's schooling, often asking for updates about her progress. He suggested extra reading, especially about British history, and how the royal household worked. He believed that these lessons would help Charlotte one day. He wanted her to understand her country and its traditions deeply, preparing her for whatever path she might take. Though King Charles adored all his grandchildren, those working in the palace noticed subtle differences in how he spoke with them. His talks with Prince George often centered around leadership and future royal responsibilities. But with Charlotte, his tone was softer. Their conversations touched on feelings, kindness, and creativity. He encouraged her to understand people's emotions and situations, believing this would shape her into a wise and thoughtful person. Not everyone fully agreed with the king's close focus on Charlotte. Prince William and Princess Kate preferred to raise their children with as much freedom and normalcy as possible. They wanted their young ones to enjoy childhood without the heavy weight of royal expectations. At times, the king's strong involvement caused quiet tension, though everyone worked hard to keep peace within the family. But while their bond grew, someone wasn't happy with the connection. Who was this? Stay tuned. Camilla's quiet worry. Queen Camilla was known for always staying calm, no matter how difficult things became. She carried herself with grace, never letting her emotions show too clearly. But on one quiet afternoon, something inside her changed. She had planned to leave a simple message for King Charles in his study. It was a small, harmless task, but as she stepped inside, her eyes landed on a document sitting openly on his desk. The title stood out in bold, clear writing. For Charlotte, my desires and aspirations. Camilla didn't need to read any further. The words alone were enough to unsettle her heart. It wasn't only what the document said, It was the fact that Charles had hidden it from her. In all their years together, he had never kept family matters away from her. Silently, she closed the door behind her and left the study, her thoughts heavy and restless. Feeling uneasy, Camilla picked up her phone and called her sister. Her voice, usually light and steady, sounded strained. She spoke of the distance growing between herself and Charles, and the strange, quiet changes inside the palace. Though she had no clear answers, her heart told her something important was happening without her knowledge, and it frightened her. In the days that followed, that uneasy feeling only grew. Passing by a slightly open door, she overheard Charles quietly speaking to his personal assistant about William and Kate's children. The moment they noticed her, their voices dropped, and the topic changed. The sudden hush in the room stung. Camilla felt a cold distance, as though invisible walls were rising around her. Hoping to ease her worries, she later brought up Charlotte's birthday in conversation, asking gentle questions. But Charles, once warm and open, answered briefly and wouldn't meet her eyes. It was at that moment Camilla felt a deeper hurt, a kind of distance she hadn't known before. She started noticing more. Charles seemed lost in private meetings and letters, many about the grandchildren. He spent long hours alone in his study, missing their evening talks. At dinner one evening, she bravely asked about the document. Charles replied calmly, saying some things between a grandfather and granddaughter needed to stay private. His words, though soft, felt heavy. At that moment, Camilla knew something was unfolding, and she was being left behind. That night, Charles stayed in his study for hours. Camilla passed by the door several times, hoping he would call her in, but he didn't. She glimpsed him once through a small crack, focused and serious at his desk. When she quietly asked if he was well, his smile felt empty, and it did nothing to comfort her. The next morning, Camilla woke with a heavy heart. She couldn't eat and barely spoke during the usual palace meetings. She kept looking at the clock, her phone, and then at nothing at all. In her dressing room, she kept changing her clothes, unsure of what to wear. For someone who had always been certain and steady, this was unlike her. Later, she reached out to a trusted friend from her old life. Her voice trembled as she spoke of how different everything felt, how people no longer came to her as they once did. She didn't know when it had started, but now the distance was clear, and it hurt. Camilla had always understood her delicate place within the royal family. She never tried to replace anyone. She only wanted to support Charles and quietly build her place. For a while, she believed she had found balance. But now, that balance felt shaken. She felt herself becoming an outsider again, watching decisions happen in secret. What heartfelt message did King Charles send to Charlotte on her birthday? What does this mean for the future of the monarchy? Let's find out. A message from the heart. The morning sun rose gently over Windsor Castle, covering the ancient stone walls in a soft golden glow. The day felt special, carrying a sense of warmth and quiet excitement. Inside the calm, winding halls of the castle, a small private gathering was being prepared. There were no flashing cameras, no grand announcements, and no long list of important guests. This was a day meant for Princess Charlotte, and the royal family chose to mark it in a simple, loving way. The decorations reflected Charlotte's cheerful and kind spirit. Bright colors filled the room, delicate flowers were placed carefully, and every little detail whispered that this day was about family and love, not titles and crowns. Laughter floated through the air, creating a light, happy mood. The family gathered comfortably, enjoying each other's company in a relaxed, easy way. King Charles arrived early, moving gracefully into the room with calm confidence. In his hand, he carried a small, deep red leather case, its golden royal symbol shining softly. Inside was a sealed letter and a precious, thoughtfully chosen gift. Though his face was gentle, there was something serious in his eyes that made the room grow quiet for a moment. Everyone sensed this would be more than just a birthday with cake and presents. When it came time for gifts, King Charles warmly asked to have a quiet moment with his granddaughter. The room fell silent as he knelt down, meeting Charlotte's gaze with kindness. It was rare to see the king in such a tender position, but the love in his expression spoke louder than any words. Gently, he began to talk. He didn't mention rules or duties. He spoke instead about Charlotte's kindness, her happiness, and her special way of making people feel welcome. He told her how proud he was to see her caring for others, looking beyond titles, and showing genuine warmth. He valued this about her more than anything else. Charlotte listened with care, her young face serious, her bright eyes watching him closely. She understood the importance of his words, even in her youth, and she stayed still, taking in every word. Slowly, the king opened the little red box. Inside lay a delicate pendant, made of gold and silver, with tiny, beautiful initials from loved family members past and present. It wasn't just a piece of jewelry, it was a symbol of love, family ties, and shared history. He gave it to Charlotte as a treasure she could carry with her always. But the moment wasn't over yet. The king picked up the sealed envelope and carefully unfolded the paper inside. The room held its breath as he spoke. It was a message about a new beginning, something to give future generations. He announced the creation of the Princess Charlotte Foundation, a cause devoted to helping children with their emotions and supporting family unity, matters close to Princess Diana's heart and still meaningful to the royal family today. For now, Prince William and Princess Catherine would oversee the foundation, and one day, when Charlotte was ready, it would be hers to lead. It was a promise, a gentle plan for the future, made not from royal duty alone, but from love and hope. King Charles made sure everyone understood. No one would control this foundation, and Charlotte's parents alone would decide when she was ready. Though he spoke softly, his meaning was firm, and everyone present felt the weight of his words. Queen Camilla, sitting nearby, was visibly surprised. The moment touched her deeply, in a way words couldn't explain. Everyone there realized this wasn't just a birthday moment. It was history quietly being made. Camilla's hurt. Queen Camilla had always believed that family should stay close, built on kindness, care, and support. She often spoke about the importance of togetherness within the royal household. But as time passed, she quietly began to feel a shift, one she hadn't expected. King Charles's growing bond with his grandchildren, especially with little Princess Charlotte, stirred emotions in Camilla's heart that she found hard to explain. She watched their moments closely, the laughter, the gentle talks, and the simple joy they shared. Though she smiled and seemed content, a quiet longing settled inside her. Camilla loved the children in her own way. She was polite, thoughtful, and always made sure to show kindness. But unlike Charles, who would kneel to play games or share silly stories, Camilla kept a little distance, holding on to the formality she'd always known. In those warm family moments, Charles was free and happy, while Camilla stood softly on the side, watching with careful eyes. The difference between them didn't go unnoticed. Those around them could see how naturally Charles connected with his grandchildren. Camilla, though present and kind, seemed like a quiet guest at times in these playful, precious gatherings. The growing closeness between Charles and Charlotte made Camilla's quiet discomfort grow heavier. She understood how special their relationship was, but in the corners of her heart, she couldn't help but feel slowly left behind. Thoughts of Princess Diana surfaced more often, along with old comparisons that never quite disappeared. Even though she kept her feelings hidden behind gentle smiles, the ache quietly stayed. On Charlotte's birthday, when King Charles spoke of his dreams and plans for his granddaughter, Camilla felt something inside her shift. The room's mood changed in an instant, mirroring the way her heart felt. She worked hard to stay calm and wear her usual composed expression, but deep inside, she felt unsettled. A mixture of sadness and quiet fear washed over her as she realized things were changing. And with them, her own place in the family might be too. While the party had ended, the role for Charlotte kicked in. What place did she now hold in the royal family? Let's dive into it. Princess Charlotte's special place. Princess Charlotte's birthday party turned out to be much more than just a simple family gathering. What started as a cheerful day filled with laughter, balloons, and gentle music quietly became an important moment in the royal family's story. King Charles saw this as the perfect time to share a personal and meaningful decision. Instead of making a grand public announcement, he chose to speak softly, passing his message to the family in a way that felt warm and thoughtful. The family gathered around Charlotte, offering kind smiles and good wishes, yet beneath the surface, something more meaningful was happening. Prince William stood proudly by his daughter's side. His calm expression showed that he had known about this decision for some time and fully supported it. Princess Catherine, always graceful and gentle, stayed close to her family. She didn't say much, but the kindness in her eyes made it clear she understood and welcomed this quiet change within their family. When King Charles finally spoke, his words were different from the usual royal messages. His voice softened as he spoke about the importance of family closeness, strength from within, and honesty. He spoke of the personal changes he had experienced over the years, and how he now wished to lead with more kindness and care, not just for the country, but for those within the palace walls. It was clear that he had come to understand that every royal family member carried emotions, hopes, and personal needs of their own. As the celebration continued, Charlotte's face glowed with joy when her grandfather gave her a special and meaningful gift. It wasn't an ordinary birthday present, but something far deeper. Along with it came the announcement of a new foundation in her honor, dedicated to supporting children's emotional well-being and encouraging family unity. This idea connected the family's past to its future, offering hope for the generations to come. King Charles created this foundation as a way to honor his late wife's loving spirit and gently guide the royal family toward a more caring path. It marked a quiet but meaningful change in how royal responsibilities would be shared in the future. It allowed younger royals to discover their strengths and follow their hearts, rather than be bound by old, strict traditions. Princess Charlotte's journey would be about creating her own special place in the world. She would not be forced into roles that didn't fit her, or be asked to pretend. Her gentle heart and natural kindness would be given room to shine. King Charles saw her emotional wisdom as a treasure to protect and encourage. This simple decision hinted at a much bigger shift in thinking. The king realized that keeping the monarchy strong didn't only mean following old rules, it meant caring for the people within it, making sure they could serve others with honesty and warmth. By starting this foundation in Charlotte's name, he reminded the family that royal duties should always include kindness, love, and respect. How did Camilla relate with the changing monarchy? Stay tuned. A new path for the Queen. Queen Camilla, known for her steady grace, quietly observed the unfolding events with careful eyes. Though she wore her usual calm expression, deep inside, emotions gently stirred. Over the years, she had grown used to the complex world of royalty. The glimmering titles, the unspoken rules, and the watchful gaze of the public. Joining the royal family later in life had meant shouldering old judgments and uneasy memories. Balancing her personal feelings with royal expectations was never easy, yet now something was beginning to shift within her. As hushed conversations filled the elegant rooms of the palace, Camilla found herself drawn into quiet discussions about the future. For the first time in a long while, she felt at ease speaking openly. Her voice, gentle yet steady, shared thoughtful reflections as she began to truly understand the wisdom behind King Charles's decisions. The king's ideas about kindness, honesty, and emotional care deeply touched her heart. She realized that change wasn't something to fear, but a doorway to a softer, warmer, and more welcoming royal family. Camilla's own role started to feel different. She saw that she wasn't bound to play her part exactly as it had been done before. There was room for tenderness, for sincere support, and for offering gentle guidance. The tight grip of old traditions loosened, replaced by the simple wish to be a steady presence for those around her. It brought her a calm sense of peace, something she hadn't felt in years. Bit by bit, Camilla's connections with the younger royals began to grow. She let go of unnecessary formalities and made room for real, meaningful moments. She started to laugh more easily at the children's jokes, listened closely to their stories, and offered quiet encouragement during uncertain times. Instead of focusing only on her royal position, she chose to be someone dependable, someone they could turn to as the family moved toward a gentler way of living and working together. In the middle of these tender changes, Princess Charlotte's presence blossomed in quiet, beautiful ways. Her childhood was handled with extra care, allowing her to grow at her own pace. Every new responsibility was introduced with kindness, giving her space to discover her own path. She was gently prepared to become a person who could one day inspire, lead, and care for others in her own unique way. During these moments, King Charles himself went through a personal transformation. He thought deeply about family, about love, and about the importance of healing old wounds. His heart, once consumed by duties and public demands, softened as he sought to leave behind a legacy of compassion. He wished to be remembered not only as a king, but as a devoted grandfather, a caring father, and a man who believed in the quiet power of kindness. On that memorable day, the message he shared was more than just words. It was a promise of a new chapter for the royal family, one built on honesty, gentleness, and the comforting warmth of human connection. It was a gentle shift, but one that would shape the future in beautiful and lasting ways. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.